I, female 33, met my boyfriend, Ash, 39, 7 months ago. 4 months ago, he lost his job and couldn't afford his rent. We were only seeing each other for 3 months, so we'd never discussed moving in together. I was surprised when he asked me to move in. He promised it'll be for a month, 2 tops, and then he'll find someplace else. It's been okay living with him, and he's stayed until now as he's looking for a job. I inherited a house from my grandparents, which I own. It's got a ground floor with a sitting room, kitchen, bathroom, and drawing room. It's not an actual room. It's more like a patio with windows around it. Upstairs, there's a master bedroom and a bathroom. It used to have 2 other bedrooms, but I run a small business for a living. Think Etsy and stuff. And I've been very successful for the past 5 years, so I remodeled those 2 bedrooms into a huge office that I need for work. I wasn't made aware of this before he moved in, but he has a tween son that he sees once a month. I haven't met him yet, but Ash wants it to happen soon. Ash started hinting that we should make some changes in paint and change the office into 2 bedrooms like it used to be. He saw photos, so I could use one as an office and one for his son. My first reaction was absolutely not. I explained that I need my office the way it is and can't downsize it, especially now. He pushed and I clarified that I was not going to make a bedroom for a child I hadn't even met yet, and he only sees once a month. He started crying and called me a selfish witch. He started saying that I didn't care if he had a bond with his son, and he couldn't believe I didn't want to meet him. To make matters worse, he keeps pushing me to do it, sending me photos of boys' rooms, making a wish list for Amazon, and every time we meet my friends or his friends, he tells everyone that I don't want his child to have his own bedroom, and I may turn into an evil stepmother. I keep having to do damage control, but some people believe him and think I'm a witch. I need an option. Am I the idiot for not wanting to convert my office into my boyfriend's son's bedroom? Not the idiot. Look, time to open your eyes here. You met this guy 7 months ago. 3 months after meeting, he moves in for a month or 2 tops. Now it's been 4 months, and not only is he not leaving, but he's also not working, and he wants you to change your house around to accommodate a kid who's there once a month and whom you've never met and didn't even know he had in the first place. If you can't see the laundry list of red flags here, I don't know what to tell you. Get an eviction notice in writing so you're legally covered and serve it to him. He's got to go. It only gets worse from here. That's the wildest red flag. I have no problem with parents holding off on introducing their children to their significant other, agreeing with the co-parent on when and how that's done, etc. All of that is often quite healthy. But to date someone for 3 months and not even tell them you're a parent? Every person I've dated who's a parent has disclosed this pretty quickly because they're proud of their children, and being a parent is a major part of their lives. So naturally, they want to find out early on if that's a deal breaker to a prospective partner. The red flags here are many, but that's a major one. Girl, act now. I don't know how many red flags you need before you dump this guy, but you've got to be getting close, right? The longer you delay, the more difficult it'll be to get rid of this man. I suggest also locking up valuables and financial information, or getting a safety deposit box. OP, you're not the idiot, but you are being used, and I hope things work out for you to get your life back. This 100%. I am, however, wondering why you're with him. He called you a selfish witch when you wouldn't alter a home and business space you own to accommodate a kid he barely sees when he doesn't even formally live with you, and it was supposed to be temporary. You've only been dating a few months. This sounds like way more trouble than an unemployed mooch could possibly be worth. Come on, girl, you're better than this. Kick him out. My daughter is autistic and has a support dog. He's an Anatolian shepherd, so a big scary dog. He was initially supposed to be a livestock guardian for my dad, but when I took my daughter to meet him, they kind of bonded. We ended up with him a few weeks later due to him being generally bad at his job, and now he works to support my daughter, and she absolutely loves him. This is all to say we have a very big dog who looks very mean sometimes. He's sweet as anything, though. My cousin's girlfriend is terrified of dogs. The first time she saw him, she refused to come into the house. We have a pretty big house, so family meals are usually held at mine. This is obviously posing an issue, as his girlfriend won't come into my house because of the dog. We've crated him for very short periods so she could come in, but she's clearly very uncomfortable, and my daughter gets very nervous around new people without him present. I've explained that there just isn't any compromise to make, and my cousin is quite annoyed, asking why we just couldn't leave the dog home and eat elsewhere. Honestly, I wouldn't mind, as I could just leave my daughter with her mom, but no one else wants to cook, lol. In my opinion, if he wants to reinforce family bonding so much, he should offer to cook. Anyway, it's a serious issue right now, and causing arguments within the family. It all came to a head last night when they dropped off my dad. He's staying for Christmas. Anyway, my cousin started yelling and asking me why I hated his girlfriend so much and couldn't accommodate her. I told him his girlfriend's fear weren't as important to me as my daughter's comfort. My dad ended up cooling it down and essentially called me an idiot. She can't control her fears and all of that. So, am I the idiot? I feel a little bad, but my daughter's comfort is more important. Not the idiot. Imagine coming into your home, eating your food, and expecting you to get rid of the dog that calms your daughter. It's funny how they can all complain, but none offer to open up their home and bank account to change house. Ask him and your dad why they both hate your daughter, since they both like to open their entitled mouth to spew ridiculousness. The sheer audacity. Honestly, lol. I was like, who gave you the right? Your cousin's girlfriend can't control her fears? That's nice. Your autistic daughter can't control her fears, and it's her house. Your cousin and dad both need to get over themselves before they stop getting invited for Christmas. Is this dog a certified support dog? Or have you as a parent labeled him a support dog and are just using the term? From what I understand, it's not a legit service dog. It wasn't prescribed by a doctor and never had any kind of official training. I would say you are the idiot for using a dog as a crutch for your kid instead of working on fixing her issues. It's not a real service dog, so she won't be able to take him everywhere. Anytime, and sooner or later, she'll be in a situation where her dog is not allowed or welcomed. Just like the current situation, you need to figure out with her doctor how to get her over her insecurities without relying on an unreliable source of comfort. I'm engaged to Noah, and this was my first Christmas with his family. I met them in the summer after we moved to be near his family now that he's finished college. We're getting married in February, and we're expecting our first child together in May. Being someone with no family and seeing how close his family was, I wanted to make sure I showed my appreciation for them with the gifts I gave, so I tried to get something each person would love. One of his sisters loves to read, so I made a book sleeve for her with little details from all her favorite books. One of his nieces is on the spectrum and wanted clothes for her stuffy, so I made some clothes for her to put on. Finally, I bought his mom a jewelry box she had admired a couple of times after mentioning never having a real one. For his dad, I bought him a frame for his office, big enough to hold photos of his whole family, since he always complained he couldn't find one big enough or nice enough and had no more room for individual frames. I included photos Noah had provided me in it. I got his other sister her favorite makeup, which she mentioned she couldn't afford to buy lately. Then I got his brother a signed piece of memorabilia from his favorite sports team. For the rest of the nieces and nephews, I bought wish list items the parents weren't getting. Noah thought that they would love everything. He told me I didn't need to go to the effort I did. I spent weeks tracking everything down and searching for certain items, but he really thought they'd like them. But when Christmas Day happened, I could tell something was off. I spent the whole time worrying that I had bought them stuff they didn't like anymore. They said nothing. But then the next day, they asked Noah what the heck I was thinking, and it was like I was some kind of stalker buying them such personal stuff when I'm almost a stranger to them. The next day, we saw them again, and I apologized for the gifts I gave them and told them I'd be much more mindful in the future. I offered to make it up to them. One of his sisters called me a stalker to my face and told me it was no wonder my family didn't want me if I was so creepy to do stuff like that. Noah yelled at her. I apologized again and told them I didn't want to hurt anyone and that I would learn from this. They told me I had overstepped. Noah said we were leaving and they owed me an apology. I feel so bad. Noah supported me and told me I did nothing wrong, but surely there wouldn't be so much offense if that were true. I need to ask, am I the idiot? My goodness, they ought to be getting lumps of coal. Not the idiot. Your gifts sound very thoughtful, and you ran them by Noah. Not sure what's going on with his family, but in the future you can save a lot of time by getting generic gifts. This is really sad. You went above and beyond for the family of your fiancé, and you were met with distrust and mocking. My next gift for them would be the finger. That's hard to get over. Glad your fiancé is standing by you. I distanced myself from his family ASAP. OP should have a deep conversation with her fiancé about this situation. The family's behavior is so mind-boggling atrocious that I think something deeper is probably happening. They're upset that their son is marrying young or about to become a father in lieu of traveling or going to grad school or whatever, or that they wanted lots of in-laws themselves. Regardless, the couple needs to figure out what's really going on here, and OP needs to figure out whether her fiancé is willing to stand up for his spouse to his family over the long term. Unless there's a really convincing explanation for their behavior along the lines of, "We were all brainwashed by aliens this morning," I think that they need to plan to live somewhere other than the fiancé's hometown. Right? They sound like perfectly ordinary gifts the family seemed interested in having. It's not like she went out and bought them all underwear. Something else is going on here. Their behavior is seriously odd and honestly concerning. You were nice and thoughtful, and they denigrated you and reacted bizarrely. Talk to your fiancé. This is literally not okay. My stepson, Teen, has had a medical condition since birth. He used to be doing fine, but 14 months ago, his health started worsening. His mom and I put all our emergency funds toward his first surgery. Now, 7 months later, he needs a second one, which was not anticipated. We're not doing great financially. We don't have anything of value to sell to use the money on the surgery except my 18-year-old son's car, which his mom and I bought together, and I eventually gave it to him to drive to college. I decided since it was in my name that I could sell it. He found out and was not happy about it. I explained the situation to him, but he said that it was a gift from me and his mom, and I had no right to take it back and sell it. I explained again, but he was having none of it. We got into a huge argument, and his uncle started shaming me for taking the car, saying my stepson's health issues weren't my son's responsibility. I refused to negotiate or get into an argument with them, but my son is upset, and he's been avoiding my wife and me for days now. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Do you plan to give your ex-wife her investment in the car back after you sell it? Also, your son is 18. Why is the car still in your name? This is not a solo decision you can make. 1, Mom paid for part of the vehicle. 2, the vehicle is your son's vehicle and was a gift. It should already be in his name. 3, you are creating resentment and strife in your family. There are charitable foundations, state medical, and other options to pay for the surgery that don't involve stealing from your child. Why not sell your car or your wife's? Because you know it's his bio son, and he and the ex-wife went half on it. So why sell his car when he could just sell other people's cars because his wife and her ex can't provide for their sick kid? Honestly, he did this without even asking. If he had asked, maybe his son would have been understanding, and maybe his ex would have as well. But no, just sell it like that? How's his son gonna get around now? I believe that there are other options for cash. You could take out a second mortgage, check into charity from the hospital, and check into Medicaid. Your wife could sell her engagement ring to pay for her son's healthcare needs, rather than expecting you to sell your son's car that his mom paid half for without discussing it with you. You probably just ruined your relationship with your son. I doubt the kid would be understanding, and I would not expect him to be either. What really gets me is the he found out part. Like, was OP just gonna sell it and not tell his kid beforehand? Was the son going to walk out one day to drive to school or work and just find his car gone with no explanation? I would like to know if the ex has proof of payment and if she can take him to small claims court or something for the money. If she has equal claim through purchase, if not title, then his selling it was inappropriate. My question, OP, where's your wife's ex? And why are only you paying for the kids' care? I want to give OP the benefit of the doubt that they must be losing their minds from stress. Not the idiot. Your stepson's health is more important than having a car. Your son is an adult and can work to pay for his transportation. If this is your only option, you have to do what you must, especially if this is a life-threatening situation. If you think an inanimate object is more important and valuable than helping a child with a congenital condition requiring multiple surgeries, then I couldn't respect you. My husband's sister got a dog in 2021, a Jack Russell Terrier. Because of her horrible time management and lack of planning in her day-to-day life, she only took care of the dog for the first couple of months of having her. But after that, she'd either dump the dog to her parents or my husband and me. My husband and I have a dog of our own, and she's very friendly with sister-in-law's dog. We adore dogs, so we didn't exactly mind having an extra dog at our house, but we were bothered by sister-in-law's entitled attitude of refusing to take responsibility for her choice. We had talked to her about that multiple times, and she always made excuses that she's struggling right now financially, and once she gets a proper job with proper work hours, she'll get the dog back. She got that job, got the dog back, but only for 2 to 3 months, and then kept dumping her dog on either her parents or us again, and only took her to her place once or twice a week. Let's jump to now. In July, sister-in-law announced she'll be moving to Australia for good, and that took us by surprise because she hadn't mentioned moving to another country before. After we talked about that, we asked, what about the dog? She said that she's really sad she can't take the dog with her, but Australia's really strict on animal laws and moving animals there, so she'll have to take a lot of action that she can't afford at the moment, so the dog would stay with us in Italy. She said she wished she could take the dog with her, but she agreed to change the dog's info on the microchip and have us adopt her dog. I can't say I was surprised, and to be honest, my husband and I didn't trust her to have the dog with her, since she's been really irresponsible with that. So a few days ago, she came to Italy to visit us and announced she'll have the dog do all the necessary procedures to bring her to Australia with her. My husband and I reminded her that the dog is now adopted by us, and after all, we don't trust her to be responsible with her. She thought we were joking, but we insisted we were not giving the dog back. She was mad at us, and my in-laws, aka husband's parents, believed we were idiots for insisting on keeping the dog from her instead of giving her back to sister-in-law. In their words, she got the dog originally. You wouldn't have the dog if it wasn't for her, and the dog is hers, whether you agree with her choices on how to take responsibility or not. We're still planning to refuse to give her the dog. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She officially gave up her dog's ownership when changing the chip info. Also, morally, the poor dog was mistreated by her. So again, you're only doing what's best for the dog. I'd be careful, though, that she doesn't actually try to steal the dog back. You know perfectly well she's going to bring that poor thing to Australia. It'll sit in quarantine for months, and then she'll decide a month or two after retrieving it that since you and your parents are no longer around to drop off the dog with, she'll just surrender it to a pound. So keep it with you where it's safe and happy. This right here. If she considered the dog a true family member, she'd absolutely want what's best for the dog. Instead, she sees the dog as a pet whenever she'd like some company, but then an inconvenience otherwise. She has you to take care of the dog now and give it the care it needs. Who knows what'll happen to the poor dog in Australia? Please stand firm. This is your dog now.